Hello everybody, welcome back. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to take you a little tour of the elevated beds that we built over the last couple months here. And like right now it is first or second week of June, so it's starting to get warmed up pretty good now. Everything's starting to really pop through the garden. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take you around. I'm going to show you. We got some radishes in here right in front of me. We got some lettuce, carrots, and onions. So I'm going to take you around and show you what all we got growing, how big they're getting. Now the radishes, I mean, as you can see, I got a couple of them here that, yes, they have bolted, and yes, that is my intention. I do want to get some seeds off of these ones, but most of the other radishes are ready to come out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you here, walk you around, show you a couple things here. Hopefully you enjoy this. Alright, so what we got here is our radishes. Now, as you can see here, maybe you can see there's a little line through here. What I did there was, this is one variety and this is a second variety, and so I put a couple little rocks in here. But the radishes, they've been growing now for a little over a month. I mean, they took a little bit longer than what they should have to mature, but in the end, what we have, I'll show you here, some very, very nice radishes. Like I said earlier, yeah, some of these do have flowers on them. I'm going to leave a couple of them go to bolt so I can have seeds from them. But this is the one variety here, and see if we can get you a good one here. And this is the other variety that we got. So that's our radishes. I'm going to move on here and show you another part of the garden. Alright, so what we got going here is we have our lettuce. In here, these 4 rows right here are the first plant that I did. Each row is a separate type of lettuce. And so what I did here was, the first week I planted these 4 rows. And as you can tell, if you can see the height from probably about, say about a little over 2 inches right now. So these 4 rows planted first, and what I did probably about maybe 2 weeks, I left about 2-week interval here, and then I planted these 4 rows. Now these 4 rows, they are the same as these 4 rows here, but as you can tell, about a ½ inch, some can be like 1 inch, but you know, they're 2 weeks behind. The reason why I did that was because what we're going to do is we're going to start on one end, either this end or that end, and we're going to cut as much as we need and as much as we can use before it actually goes bad. So that way I could start on one end, deplete this row, move over to the next one, and then start on this row. Now we are going to have a third row on the far end here where we have a little bit extra space. So what we're going to try and accomplish by doing this is we're going to have a constant supply of lettuce throughout the year. Alright, let's move on to the carrots. Right, now here we got our carrots. What I did here, I got 3 separate types. I know there's Danvers, there's Long Imperators, and I cannot remember the other type, but like I got it all wrote down, so by the end of the year I'll remember. Once we go to harvest them, I'll remember what they are. But they're not doing too bad at all. They're actually fairly big. I mean, that one's probably every bit of 6 inches tall. And you know, this garden bed, the elevated garden beds, make it so much easier. Like you can see, obviously I'm gonna have to come in here and weed it out again, but it makes it so much easier when you're up, your carrots and your onions and stuff is up high enough that you can actually just walk in here, grab a couple weeds, tear them out. Very easy to maintain a garden that's elevated in a bed like this. And something you might have noticed is the different coloring here. Well, the reason for that is this is a different type of soil composition. This is actually more topsoil and sand. It's a little bit finer material than what the other ones were. The other beds are actually mushroom compost and some hummus manure mixed in together. And the reason why I didn't want that in here was the mushroom compost actually has really big chunks of bark in it. So over time, eventually that'll actually, decompose. But for carrots, you really don't want something like that, because if it grows into a piece of that real big bark, it can either stunt the growth, or it'll grow out weird shapes and everything. It's just more of a pain. But with this, what we're hoping to accomplish is a little bit straighter carrots. They're not going to be perfect, but a little bit straighter than what you can get with a rocky mix, or like a mix with a bunch of bark and wood chips in it. But as for the carrot garden, I mean, they're looking really well right now. So one more garden to show you. We're going to go over here and we're going to take a look at the onions. Alright, here's the last bed we have going right now, and well, as you can tell, they're onions. And from here down over here, we got a purple type of an onion, and the rest of them over this way are just a regular yellow, they're sweet onions. So yeah, they're a little bit shorter than what I would have liked them to be. I mean, this is June, but we got a little bit of a late start with these ones. Couple issues we had, but so far, I mean, they're growing pretty well, considering they're probably, I'd say probably about 2-3 weeks old maybe. We got them in just before Memorial Day, so yeah, we got a little bit of a late start, but all in all, I believe we're doing pretty good with this one. Now, I can't show you the fourth bed because, well, what we're going to try this year is peanuts. And in my area, which is zone 6, I believe it's 6A or 6B, it's kind of weird where I'm actually at. I'm like right on a dividing line between the zones. But for my zone, peanuts cannot grow under a certain temperature, and they have to be, above a certain temperature at night. And we've had the decent weather, we just haven't had it constantly above that just yet. So what we're going to do is probably wait another week or so and then try it and see how it works out then. But definitely do your research with your zones, because like something like peanuts, they will not grow in certain areas, and I'm far enough north that it's kind of a complicated process with the peanuts, whether they actually grow, whether they flower. There's a lot of variables with peanuts, and in my area they tend to not grow as well. So hopefully we'll have an update for you on that later on, and hopefully we have peanuts in the next bed. So yeah, that's the end of the tour of our 3 garden beds that we have planted so far. But yeah, hopefully in the future here we'll have an update with the peanut situation. Plan on doing a video on that. Not sure how it's going to work out. I'm not familiar with peanuts, so it's kind of like a new experiment for us. But hopefully here in the future you'll be seeing a video come out about the peanuts, and if it worked or didn't work in my area. So all right, thanks for coming along. Hopefully enjoyed the tour, and we'll catch you later.